Hello and welcome everyone. I hope this message finds you fit and fine. It is an opportunity as well as our responsibility to know about Gandhi, his ideas. How a common man who was once having fear even to speak before public turned out to be a person who was leading Indian masses. An important figure in turning India's segregated efforts towards freedom into successful mass movements. How he did that? There must be some depth in his ideas. So, this video is a small effort in that direction to know about these ideas. So, we are using the word Gandhism. Ism represent ideologies, means there must be some set of ideas of Gandhiji having coherence, interconnection with each other, having a particular objective, saying this is the ultimate way. But the surprising element is Gandhi never agreed that there is something called Gandhism. Gandhi said, I don't know the truth. When I say I don't know the truth, it means Gandhi was not claiming that what he is saying is the ultimate truth. Gandhi is saying, my life is all about experimenting with truth. I have got some insights into ideas of truth which are working, and that is what I am preaching and I'm acting.
I do not claim to have originated any new principle or doctrine. I have simply tried in my own way to apply the eternal truths of our daily life and problems. There is, therefore, no question of my leaving any code behind like the code.
So Gandhi never agreed that there is something called Gandhism. It is up after Gandhi that some of the works of Gandhi, for example, My Experiments with Truth, Hind Swaraj, some of the pamphlets and his letters, the collation of these ideas turn out to be called that there is something called Gandhism. And Gandhi got these followers and they said, we are Gandhist. So on this point, Professor Humayun Kabir says that Gandhi was not a philosopher. He was a strategist. He knew what idea might work in this particular scenario. He understood mass psychology, what people like, what people don't like, on what points people will come together. And this was the one important factor in Gandhi's success as a mass leader. Even if we consider that Gandhism is a philosophy, then we should know that it is not an armchair philosophy that which is actually made sitting in a room contemplating what is good, what is bad. No, it was more than that. Because Gandhi always said, I'm a man of action. So what he preached, he experimented with that. Right? So let's talk about first idea, that is Swaraj. So this is the central piece of Gandhi's thought process. Swaraj, अपना राज. क्या ऐसा था कि this word was first used by Gandhi ji? No. This word was used before also. For example, according to moderates, having more representation for Indians under British Raj is Swaraj. According to extremists, complete freedom from British rule is Swaraj. But Gandhi just said, Swaraj is more than that. Swaraj as a concept is multidimensional. Its base is non-violence, ahimsa. Gandhi said, Swaraj is a state of being of individual and nation. How we live, how we perceive life, how we act is Swaraj. It is more than that, so who is ruling us? So to understand Swaraj, let's first understand non-violence, because non-violence is going to be used in Gandhi's thought process. So if I ask you, what is non-violence? Some of you might be thinking that if you're not being violent in your words, in your actions, in your thoughts against someone, it means that you adhere to the Gandhi's idea of non-violence. If Gandhi would have been alive, Gandhi would have said, ऐसे नहीं हो पाएगा. This is not my conception of non-violence. Gandhi said, my conception of non-violence is positive. It is not about क्या नहीं करना है. It is about क्या करना है. Gandhi said, non-violence is connected to love, fraternity towards others, That is the real concept of non-violence. So this is conception of non-violence. That is positive conception of non-violence. Negative conception, when I say negative conception, don't consider this word positive and negative in general idea of good and bad, sahi or galat, अच्छा और बुरा. नहीं, नहीं, नहीं. In political science, when I'm using the word positive, negative conception of violence, it means negative conception of non-violence means कुछ नहीं करना, कुछ रोक लग रही है. There's some stoppage. And then we can say, yes, this is non-violence. Like violent na hona. If you think that is non-violence, that is negative idea of non-violence. And when I say negative, it is not bura. It is just one type of non-violence. But Gandhiji's type of non-violence was positive. नहीं, आपको कुछ करना होगा. Gandhi was talking more than that. Okay. And what was his justification of non-violence? So he was not just preaching some ideas ki dekho अच्छे ideas hain, you should follow. No, no, no. He was giving justification of every point. So number one justification. Gandhiji said, ultimate objective of life is to attain truth. Right? God has given us reason, and this reason, this logic is given to live a life on the path of truth. So Gandhi said truth is equivalent to God. Right? So it is like objective of life is to attain God. And this is your life. This is your path. So Gandhiji, in his justification, used ends and means theory. Ends and means पहुंचना कहां है और क्या यूज करना है तरीका आपको. That is ends and means theory. Means your end is to live, to achieve truth, to live a life of truth, right? God. Ultimate objective is this. So if ultimate objective is God, truth, can you attain this by using the path of Satan? क्या आप शैतान के रास्ते का यूज करके, सैटनिक यूज करके, क्या आप गॉड को अचीव कर सकते हैं? नहीं. If you want to achieve truth, then you should live a life of truth. You should lead a way of God. Right? And God believes in non-violence. And now some of you might be thinking, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? ये कैसे डिड्यूस करा गांधी जी ने? गांधी जी uses second logic. Second logic is, Gandhiji asked, are you a human or an animal? So you would say, obviously, Gandhiji, I am a human. इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है. बाकी बहुत डाउट है जिंदगी में. Gandhi said, okay. So you are a human? So it means your life has a gift of reason. You can use your logic. You are not slave of appetite. Appetite means whatever pleasures your sensory organs are giving you signal of कि हाँ इससे मुझे मजा आएगा. Gandhi said animals are not having that elevated level of reason which humans have. They are bound by the sensory organs, right? So this is a difference, right? So since animals are bound by the appetite, so if they are having this signal of sensory organ that I must kill someone, then they will kill someone. They will use violence. But don't you think humans have a choice here? Best part is that humans can use their reason and they can alter their action no matter what their sensory organ is saying or giving signal of. Right? So it means non-violence belongs to the world of humans. Gandhiji said, if any one of you, if someone is human and that human is using violence, then this human actually belongs to world of animal. वो दिखने में हो सकता है कि human हो, लेकिन ultimately essence is of animal world, right? Existence is human, but essence is of animal world. So these are the two justification which Gandhiji gave in his theory of non-violence, which is like a base of Gandhi's other ideas. Now, when it comes to application, इसको कहां यूज कर सकते हैं नॉन वायलेंस को? गांधी जी सेड नॉन वायलेंस शुड बी यूज्ड विद इंडिविजुअल्स. It is quite obvious. Gandhi ji said it should be used with animals, it should be used with environment. Means non-violence is not just limited to human society. If we exist, we should have this non-violence character in our existence. Now, some of you might be asking, this application, kahan se aaya Gandhi ji ke paas ye idea ki we should be non-violent? Gandhi ji's ideas of non-violence had an impact of religious scriptures. Gandhi ji said that all living beings are part of one cosmic reality. So we all are one, right? So this was about non-violence. Now coming back to Swaraj. Now, according to Gandhi ji, Swaraj, self-rule. So it is also having types. So Gandhi ji said one is spiritual freedom of the individual, self-rule. So let's talk about this first. First point is spiritual freedom of individual. So Gandhi ji said Swaraj starts with individual. If you are thinking that throwing away Britishers from India means if Britishers free us, then our life will be better off, not necessary. Because first you need to attain self-control. Without self-control, there will be no order in society. So our conception of freedom will itself faulty. Because when I use the word Swaraj, so you can say Swaraj is Indian version of liberty or freedom. Indian version, but a deeper one. So as an individual, if you are slave of your sensory pleasures, then you will commit certain mistakes which are going to bring disorder in society. If there's disorder in society, can you expect progress from such a society? No, right? So self-control is essence of Swaraj, which starts at individual level. Interesting point is, other than this component Swaraj, Gandhiji also said national independence means freedom from foreign rule. So please understand, when Gandhiji is here saying Hamara Nara Poon Swaraj, so he's not just talking about complete independence from Britishers. This is just one component of Gandhi's idea of Poon Swaraj. So it starts with individual, then national independence. Obviously, Britishers should free us, free from foreign rule. Now, third is political freedom of the individual. So what is political freedom of the individual? Gandhi said it means freedom of individual from exploitation of other individuals, other groups, or you can say state. So it means here Gandhiji is saying, and you must know that Gandhiji got this idea of political freedom of individual from West. It is not an Eastern idea. Okay? It means freedom from exploitation of, please remember, exploitation word is highlight. Okay? Exploitation from individual. कोई एक इंडिविजुअल अगर दूसरे का एक्सप्लॉइटेशन कर रहा है, दैट इज अगेंस्ट स्वराज. अगर कोई ग्रुप किसी इंडिविजुअल का एक्सप्लॉइटेशन कर रहा है, दैट इज अगेंस्ट स्वराज. डोंट यू थिंक around us, just observe what is happening in society. If one group or few groups are exploiting some individual in the name of religion, caste, or any idea, don't you think that is against the conception of Swaraj? Right? Even state means, even if government is exploiting individual, means arbitrarily, no rule, no law. Government is thinking if we are in power, then we can do anything. Gandhiji was saying it is against Swaraj. Political freedom of individual is necessary. Right? I hope it is clear. Now, economic freedom of individual. Gandhiji said individual should be free from poverty. Now, please remember that these three components of Gandhi Swaraj were derived from West. Okay? And this first, this spiritual content, this was derived from East. Okay? Now, we should also know about the application of Gandhiji's idea of Swaraj. Okay? So Gandhiji said Swaraj is very much applicable in political sphere, in economic sphere, in cultural sphere, in social sphere. But how? Gandhiji said in political sphere, we can have Swaraj if we stress on Panchayati Raj institutions, if we strengthen these panchayats, if we believe in and follow democratic decentralization. Please remember democratic decentralization, and these views of Gandhiji impacted our Constituent Assembly, and that is why we had Article 40 in DPSP of Indian Constitution. And then we had the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act giving constitutional status to Panchayati Raj. But still, we are far from realizing the Gandhiji's idea of political Swaraj towards this decentralization, democratic decentralization. Because Gandhiji was saying self-sustainable units needs to be established at village level. So as of now, we are actually working in this direction, but we are very far. And this is expected from future bureaucrats that they will take some actions in this regard. Actions which are beyond rhetorics. Achhi baatein nahi, some crude actions on the ground. Now, economic sphere. What is Swaraj in economic sphere? So it means that Gandhiji was saying material well-being is also essential in life. It is not like Gandhiji was all about some otherworldly ideas. Some people think Gandhiji was all about non-violence and truth. No. Gandhiji was talking about life, society. Gandhi was actually giving a conception of how to build Indian society. That is why I always say Gandhiji was more than a political leader, more than a social reformer. He was giving a conception how to create Indian society, how to establish those value systems which are going to deliver results beyond the conception of human potential. जो हम सोचते हैं कि कर सकते हैं उससे ज्यादा कर सकते हैं. For example, for economic sphere, Gandhi said every individual deserves chances or say opportunities of livelihood wherever this person is situated, and this can be attained by pushing cottage industries. So it should be the responsibility of society to push cottage industries, to have such opportunities so that we can take care of our livelihood, right? In cultural sphere, Gandhiji said, I would advise to keep windows of our house open. If we consider that we have this civilization, so we should open our windows. It means we should be open to embrace what is good in other cultures, but we should keep our doors closed. Why? Because Gandhiji said it is very important to respect your own culture, right? It is very important because your culture gives you identity. And if you are not aware about your culture, then you may be abused. And this happened actually. Because Indian people were in the, meanwhile in this modern part, we found that Britishers actually spent a lot on Orientalist research on Indian societies. So we started looking Indian culture from the lenses of Britishers. So that's a demerit. So Gandhi said we should have Swaraj in culture also, right? Social sphere. Gandhiji said Swaraj is all about truth based on non-violence. So we should strive to eradicate social evils. Social evils like communalism, exploitation on the basis of caste, gender. So if we remove these social evils, then we are going to actually achieve Swaraj in social sphere. So I hope you would agree to this point that Gandhi's conception of Swaraj was way more elaborate than the general idea of Swaraj. Right? Great. So Gandhi's interpretation of Swaraj is found in this work Hind Swaraj, and it is like a foundational text if you want to understand Gandhiji and his mission. And within this text, we also find Gandhiji's critique of modern civilization, right? Why Gandhiji was criticizing modern civilization and on what basis? Okay. Now, first of all, you should know that UPSC might ask two kind of questions here. Okay. One is discuss Gandhi's critique on modern civilization, and second is examine. Now, my question is from you. For attempting this question, first you need to recognize what is about of this question. And about is Gandhi's critique on modern civilization. In both the question, about is same. Focus is same. कि इसी के बारे में पूछा जा रहा है. What was Gandhi's critique? Right? But the question directive is discuss here and examine here. So do you think your approach to answer this question should differ? Obviously, right? In discuss part, you should know what are the points on which Gandhiji is criticizing modern civilization, why Gandhiji is criticizing modern civilization. An introduction part, you should actually give evaluator an idea that you understand what is modern civilization, what is the core basis of modern civilization, right? There's a science as a basis, rationality as a basis. So you should use these keywords in the introduction itself so that you know. And then in the critique, you should connect with the ideas or say comments of Gandhiji on modern civilization. But when the question is saying examine, what difference you are going to make? Now, you also need to add dimensions of checking relevance of Gandhi's critique on modern civilization. कि गांधी जी ने modern civilization ये है, this is modern civilization, right? Modern civilization पर गांधी जी ने ये कहा, ये points पर, these are the dimensions, right? Now, examine में आपको ये भी बताना होगा, is Gandhi's criticism is valid, is relevant or not? So now, what I find, if this question is asked, many students are deficient in these points. When I ask checking relevance of Gandhi's, you can say critique on modern civilization, right? If you're watching this video and you have gone through Gandhism, then it is a point of introspection. Just let it sink, recollect. What points do you know to check relevance? Right? So now let's understand in a step-by-step manner. Okay. Number first point. Gandhiji's idea of civilization is very important. Then we are going to actually comment on modern civilization. So Gandhiji was saying civilization decides the mode of conduct of man, what we consider our duty. So civilization decides it. Okay. And Gandhiji said, there are some negative points in modern civilization. Number one point is utilitarianism. Those who are having this question in mind, that sir, what is modern civilization actually? Modern civilization hai kya? So we can say that, first of all, modern civilization word is used in context of Western civilization, Western way of life, Western ideas towards political institution, Western ideas towards relationship between government and state. So that is modern civilization. Modern civilization is actually based on science. And science is based on rationality. So I hope all of you would agree with me on this point that Renaissance period of Renaissance, when we were moving from medieval age to modern age, there we actually started questioning the authority of the idea which was ruling the medieval period. And which idea was actually ruling the medieval period? Majorly, religion as an idea, a set of ideas was ruling the medieval period. That is why we find a lot of wars in Europe based on the basis of religion, church having authority, control in legislature, executive, judiciary, right? We have seen that period, right? Whatever church is saying, now you cannot nullify that. If you are doing that, then you will be charged with blasphemy, right? Then when we moved to modern civilization, we started questioning. We started believing in rationality of men. And by using the rationality of men, by using the logic, by questioning whatever church was saying, by using our logic, now we were doing scientific discoveries. Now, this transition is important in human history because earlier we were believing truth is what is told by religion. But now we started believing that truth is actually told by science. And that is why we saw impact of this modern era on whole political science. There were many scholars who tried to establish that their theory is correct by saying that my theory is scientific in nature. Because in this era, science was considered as a yardstick to actually know truth. Right? Now, what more happened? Due to the science, we saw industries, we saw mechanization, machines. Now, quantity of goods which were produced earlier, now they were multiplying. Services were multiplying. So now, how can we continue this production? We can only continue this production when you give a value system to public where people believe that best way of living life is to accumulate wealth, is to actually engage into sensory pleasures with more goods, more services. So this idea is utilitarianism, derived from the word utility. It means utilitarianism saying ultimate idea of life is to fulfill your satisfaction and satisfaction at the level of sensory organs. So it has made man greedy. And Gandhiji said, earth has enough to fulfill the needs of men, but not the greed of men. We would require 9 other earths. Okay, and we are devastating this earth. That was the idea of Gandhiji. Gandhiji was against this modern civilization because this modern civilization was teaching people that materialism is the way of life. If you want to judge success of someone, just check how much material wealth that person is having. So Gandhi said this is also a wrong conception of a, you can say, ideal way of living life, because there is no stoppage to that. And what is going to happen? We will get into the race of accumulating more and more and more wealth. And what is going to happen? There'll be inequality. And just check, inequality hui ki nahi hui? During COVID times, I was looking at one data, mean income of lower middle class and poor class was actually decreased to half. Many lost their livelihood, jobs. But when it comes to few rich people, capitalist class, because they were having this capital, which was actually giving them, or you say, accumulating wealth even when they were sleeping. So there is a conception of capitalism and how capital works. So whoever is having capital is going to earn more money than whoever is actually exchanging labor for some money, right? This is a rule in capitalism. We are living in capitalism. Rich is going to be the one who is actually having capital, utilizing capital in some area where even when that rich person is sleeping, that capital is earning money, right? Not someone who is actually trading labor, trading time with, you can say, money, right? So what is happening? So in COVID times, we saw this race was continuing, right? Some companies were not actually, taking responsibility towards, this situation, and their wealth actually doubled, tripled. One of the, so I'm not against rich, I'm not against capitalism, but since I am having discussion on Gandhism and Gandhism ideas, so I should be honest with the idea itself. So I have to use the vision of Gandhiji. How I have to use the lens of Gandhiji. So according to Gandhiji, it is wrong when people are dying and your wealth is actually increasing from 2.6 billion dollar to 6.2 billion dollar within this COVID time. So why this happening? This race, right? And this is just one reality, and other realities are people are actually ready to turn themselves into severe debt just to actually get into this race. That is a meaningless race. There's no end to that. And what is going to happen eventually? We will see exploitation of environment in this race of more and more production, right? Gandhiji was also against this because Gandhi was saying that there are two features of this modern civilization. One is might is right. जिसके पास पावर है, जो वो कह रहा है वो सही है. Ideas of the ruling class are the ruling ideas. That is wrong. That should not happen. It compromises truth. Whoever is having power is going to establish his ideas as the ruling ideas. That is wrong. Might is right. So it was Machiavelli. So Gandhiji would be against Machiavelli's idea. So Machiavelli was saying actually politics is power game. Politics is struggle for power. So this is a facet of modern civilization. Look at politics. People are ready to do anything just to get into power. So Gandhiji was saying this is wrong. Politics devoid of religion ethics is a death trap. लेकर जाएगी आपको, devastation लाएगी. That was Gandhiji's idea. And when I'm saying Gandhiji was actually supporting religion intermixing with politics, so we should know the context of that. Let's contextualize this. This is important. When I say context, it means in what frame Gandhiji was saying that. Gandhi was not saying actually induce religion into politics from fundamentalist perspective. कि मेरा religion ठीक है, मेरे religion का राज होना चाहिए यहाँ पर. That is wrong because Gandhiji was not talking about that kind of intermixing of religion and politics. Gandhiji's intermixing of religion and politics was based on tolerance. Right? So this is seen in modern Western civilization, this power politics. And the religion angle I have given you specifically in context of Indian realities. So Gandhiji was critical of this idea, free market, no intervention. So it was leading to inequality. So you can say Gandhiji would be standing antipodal to Machiavelli as well as Adam Smith. Okay? Because self-interest is no one's interest. Because if we all of us start serving self-interest, then we are compromising the interest of the society as a whole. Right? Now let's talk about 3 dimensions of Gandhi's critique of modern civilization. Number 1, Gandhi said industrial capitalism. Gandhiji would actually was concurring with the idea of Lenin. Because Lenin said that this capitalism's highest stage is imperialism. Imperialism is highest stage of capitalism. What does it mean? These Western civilization turning into advanced industrial societies. For example, Britain, Portuguese, look at any colonial power of the time. Why they were searching for new colonies? Because they wanted raw material. They wanted new market. Because if they don't find new market, how they can continue their growth? Why would their factories produce more if they don't have markets to sell it? And the race is, idea of life is that we have to accumulate more and more wealth. So that is the reason this industrial capitalism was leading to this colonialism. So Gandhiji was supporting Lenin's idea, means we are concurring that imperialism is highest form of capitalism. Right? And second, Gandhiji was against. I hope it is legible to you. Right? Now, Gandhiji was against this capitalism, and he was concurring on this point with Marx that what capitalism of this modern civilization doing, it is reducing man to a commodification of men. This capitalism, which is a symbol of modern civilization, obviously, is actually leading to exploitation. Capitalism is replacing man with machines. Because for capitalism, profit matters. If machine is going to give more profit, then capitalists won't think of livelihood and how the family of this worker is going to actually continue, sustaining. It is actually against dignity of individual, because people are valued on the basis of how much they can contribute in this factors of production. So it is like you are commodifying individual, right? Now Gandhiji said that this industrial capitalism is a main reason of this colonial imperialism, the second critique of Gandhi on modern civilization. So what is colonial imperialism? First of all, Gandhi said to his followers, Gandhi said that Britishers are not ruling us because Britishers had this power. It was not just the one reason. This is not the reason. Because Britishers are ruling us because of our weakness. And this idea was used by Gandhiji to actually bring power into these satyagrahis. I'm going to discuss satyagrahi. But the point is, Gandhiji was saying that Britishers are ruling us because we are weak. And our objective is to actually reform ourselves first. And these Britishers are not ruling us just by arms. They are also ruling us by other methods. We are agreeing to the British ways, or British, you can say, interpretations of India. What this colonial imperialism did, they actually named Indian culture barbaric, childish, feminine. So here the feminine word is used in a context of weakness, although feminine force is not weakness, but here Britishers use this in this context. So that is why Gandhi said they are justifying their civilizing mission, white man's burden, but that is farce, right? And we have to realize that. That is why Gandhi said this intimate enemy. This is intimate enemy because now they have mixed within us. We have to exorcise them, exile them. हमें अपने अंदर से निकालना होगा colonial imperialism को. Colonial imperialism is not represented by these British officers कि हम इनको kill कर दें, and if we say that go back, then we will get our freedom. No. हमारे अंदर ये mindset आ चुका है कि they are supreme. We have started accepting their ways of life mindlessly because they are the one who are in civilizing mission. So Gandhi said this is actually necessary because this is corrupting Indian society, and this is a component of modern civilization, right? Because if we do not do this, what is going to happen? We actually get free from this rule, but there will be some native forces, some Indian forces, which are going to rule, and they are going to exploit. Then it would be like wastage of the efforts of so many freedom fighters. I hope all of you clear until this point. Now, third, an important one, Gandhi's critique on modern civilization. Gandhi says rationalist materialism. This is a component of this modern civilization. That rationality is considered as a, you can say, gospel. कि rationality का use करके material world में means we are using technology, and this whatever this is going to, whatever we derive, this would be considered as truth. But Gandhi said we are actually moving towards a disaster. Gandhi said it is like a truncated humanism. Gandhi said If dirt means if there's a dirt, so what is dirt? Means you did not wanted some matter over here and there's some matter over here, this is dirt. वो clean हो सकता है, वो इतना dangerous नहीं है. But ज्यादा dangerous पता है क्या है? That rationality got misplaced. अगर rationality misplaced हो गई तो it will lead to lunacy. And look for the examples. What terrorists do, they also use rationality, they also use logic. So Gandhi is saying modern civilization is doing bhakti of rationalism and materialism is actually wrong. Because if you use rationality in a direction, which in any direction, then it would actually bring devastation. For example, terrorists. For example, these communal forces, they also bring data, they also bring some scientific principles saying this is why we should actually fight. So Gandhi said rationality also need a direction. Okay? And Gandhi said, I plead not to suppress reason. He's not against reason. But Gandhi said we should actually sanctify reason itself. कि हम किस लिए यूज कर रहे हैं, किस दिशा में यूज कर रहे हैं. That is important. Right? Now coming to relevance of Gandhi's critique. Right? So these three critiques should be on your tips. First, we started with industrial capitalism. So first we had a generic idea of, you can say, modern critique. We said utilitarianism, we said materialism, right? We said that power politics, we said the selfishness, right? Self-interest matters, right? Then these specific dimensions, industrial capitalism as a component of modern civilization, right? Gandhiji agreed on these points, right? These are critiques. Then colonial imperialism. So they are ruling us not just by force, they are also ruling us by force of, you can say, attraction, power of attraction. We are attracted towards their way of life. ये भी एक गुलामी है, ये भी एक slavery है modern civilization की. Then rationalist materialism, because modern stands for science, rationality. We should not reverse science and rationality to extent that everything which is deduced by logic should be considered as truth. ऐसा नहीं करना है. और इसी वजह से होता है कि कई सारी जो प्रोपेगेंडा विंग्स होती हैं टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की, दे आर एबल टू एक्चुअली टर्न यूथ अगेंस्ट देयर ओन नेशन, अगेंस्ट देयर ओन सोसाइटी. So how we can save them? By actually inculcating a culture that reason, if logic is given, you should not accept logic. Because truth is beyond logic also. It may possible your logic is working in a periphery. There is a truth beyond logic also. That is what Gandhi was saying. Rationality needs to be given direction too. Now, let's check Gandhi's critique. So Gandhi is criticizing modern civilization. Do you think there is some positive side of modern civilization also? I would say yes. Reason? Because modern civilization represent scientific temper, logic, spirit of inquiry. You can, by using your logic, you can only use when you have a spirit of inquiry, and that is necessary for a good also. You can actually get free from social evils by using spirit of inquiry. So that as propagated by modern civilization, that is good of modern civilization. Gandhi actually could not recognize that. And we should also know that by using science, we are able to, humans are able to control nature. For example, in COVID times, by efforts of, thousands of researchers, we were successful in developing these vaccines. And vaccines are actually preventing this virus. Right? So science has a positive impact also. Organizational capacity of science or rationality. We are able to organize people, resources in a better manner. We are able to transfer the essentials from a resource-rich area to a deficient area by using science, by using logistics. So these are some positives of, you can say, modern civilization. Now relevance of Gandhi's critique, we created and we discussed in three broad dimensions. And now in three broad dimensions, we are going to discuss the relevance. For example, neocolonialism. अगर गांधी जी क्रिटिसाइज कर रहे थे colonial imperialism को, don't you think it is very much correct? हमें जो वहां कर लेना चाहिए था, हमने नहीं करा. And we are under neocolonialism. right? Means still carrying the legacy of the modern civilization, values of modern civilization. And that is why we are seeing inequality, social evils, communal disharmony. What is this? This is legacy of modern civilization. And Gandhiji was giving us, you can say, warning against this only. So that is why we can say, observing neocolonialism and its negative implication. Yes, Gandhi's ideas were very much relevant, right? So Gandhi was saying, if you get stick to gloriousness of your civilization, to leading life on the path of truth, non-violence, then either English would turn into your culture, adopt Indian culture, or they will actually live on their own. There'll be no other option. That is the power of, you can say, this culture and truth, right? So Gandhi said, negative impact of modern civilization is not just on India. This modern civilization led to inequality across nations. Look at this global north-south divide. Northern nations like USA, Germany, France, Sweden, Finland, they are rich nations. And where are poor nations? Asia, Africa, Latin America. And these are the areas which were once colonies of these northern nations. So we are still carrying the legacy. And this legacy word I'm using in negative connotation. So decisions which were taken in past, warnings which was given by Gandhi at that time which were not adhered to, can be said that that's why we are facing these problems as of now also. I hope you would agree to this relevance of Gandhi's critique. So we are checking Gandhi's critique. So very much applicable. Now post-industrialism. Gandhiji's post-industrialism represent that this industrial age led to what outcomes? Don't you think, if you think that trusteeship model which was suggested by Gandhiji is a naive step, where Gandhiji was saying this capital of a capitalist does not belong just to him. He should only take whatever is needed for his sustenance. He also should take whatever is necessary for running the business, and extra capital, it actually belongs to society. So those who are thinking that is impractical, look at what is happening now. We are observing exploitation of individuals in these industries. Are we able to bring back dignity in labor? Dignity in work? No, right? So this technology is also replacing people, demeaning people. And in this industrial system, people are like cog in the wheel, and they are being alienated by themselves, disenchantment. Their connection with their potential, their connection with the society is like lost. They're thinking about themselves, what is being told by others, कि तुम्हारी ये value है, तुम ये कर सकते हो, तुमने ये नहीं करा. Their life from day to night is limited to that only. Because there is the negative impact of this industrialization, metalism. So this outcome can be represented by post-industrialism, which is observing the outcomes. Then postmodernism. Last, third relevance of Gandhi's critique. So when I say postmodern, सबसे पहले इसका मतलब क्या है? So all of you know that modernism represents science, rationality as a way to understand truth. Postmodernism says that only science, rationality is not a viable option to understand truth. साइंस का यूज करके आप एक लिमिट तक देख सकते हो. यू कैन नॉट से दिस इज अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ. अल्टीमेट ट्रूथ कुछ होता ही नहीं है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if we develop a machine and this machine is able to check what is between in this camera and the screen, then the machine may give you data that these are the particles which are in between this space. And if we consider that this is a scientific discovery and there are machines, so we should say this is ultimate truth. These are the only particles which are in between this space. Do you agree these would be the only particles? No. Because in future there may be other machine which would say no, there were other particles as well which your machine was not able to actually decipher. Right? So It is postmodernism. That scientific theories are also negative in time, right? So science cannot be represented that science can give ultimate truth, right? So now, you know, Gandhiji was against modernism, criticizing modernism. It was not like Gandhiji was against machines in all his life. In starting, Gandhiji was actually against machine. In later part of his life, he understood the relevance of machines in fulfilling the demands or the resources which are needed for the sustenance of society. Gandhiji also changed his views, but it was not like Gandhiji was actually accepting this modern capitalist civilization. Okay, now, so Gandhiji was criticizing modernity, but Gandhiji was also saying this postmodernism means Gandhiji was criticizing that science is not telling us truth, but rationality is also not telling us truth, because rationality may be in the periphery, right? So this critique is found in postmodernism. According to Bhikkhu Parekh, in his book, he says that Gandhiji was pleading for a richer concept of rationality, a meta theory of rationalism. So what does it mean? Like I explained, means rationalism should also be guided, sanctified. Then only we can lead a better life. For example, look back in your life. 10 years back, you took some decisions with all your logics. And according to you, you were ultimately in the right direction, right? People fall in love by using logic. Ki, haan, ab to sab acha hoga. What happened then? Don't you think your logic, your rationality, to some people, failed? What sounds more logical to you 10 years back may not sound logical to you as of now. It means your periphery of logic also expands. And that is what Gandhi is saying. That is why you need guidance. Where to use your logic, how to use your logic. Right? Gandhiji wanted to contain this excessive rationality. Har jagah logic laga kar. Within, Gandhi wanted that it should be in the periphery of reasonable bound. It needs to be guided. Sometimes you are neglecting something by using your logic, but it may be possible you don't understand the depth of what you are neglecting about. For example, many people neglect Gandhiji, criticize Gandhiji, but not by not knowing the relevance of Gandhiji, application of his ideas, depth of his ideas. Right? So there is actually, Gandhiji was saying that they should emphatically reject any forced choice between totalizing rationalism and relativizing subjectivism. Means Gandhi was not about कि जो उन्होंने कह दिया कि this is the logic, this is the only logic, this which you need to use. Gandhi was against it. Gandhi was saying there is subjectivism also. There are multiple truths also, but we should move in the right direction. That is needed. Now talking about Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya as a word represents Sarvoda, Sarv ka uday, Sabhi ka uday, progress for all. So this work is inspired from Unto This Last of John Ruskin. So what Gandhiji said, Gandhi used these concepts: bread labor, trusteeship, land reform, survival. So first of all, what is bread labor? In Sarvodaya, Gandhiji knew that we need to bring upliftment of all. If we are not bringing upliftment of all, then it would lead to disharmony, right? Bread labor means everyone consumes bread. Bread means anything you eat, which is necessary for your actually livelihood. So the point is, you should engage into some physical work. Physical work is mandatory for everyone, no matter what you do, how much money you have. Because if you engage into physical work, at least that much which is necessary to actually bring you this food by someone who is doing physical work. So by doing this physical work, you will be able to understand the pain, hardship of that person. If you understand the pain and hardship of that person, then don't you think you will respect the labor of that person? So Gandhiji's effort in the Sarvodaya by using bread labor is, even if we are not, you can say, expect that everyone will be equal in terms of economic terms, but at least we can bring equality in dignity. And you will find many examples like in my previous office, so we actually changed the nomenclature of peon. So the nomenclature is now MTS, multitasking staff. In army, officers were given orderlies. Bureaucrats are also given orderlies, civil servant. So now we are changing the name. Army has changed the name, buddy. So he's supporting you. Orderly means जो भी order दोगे वो करेगा, उसकी responsibility. But buddy, he's supporting you. The word is buddy. Don't you think it is beautiful? Safai karmchari is being called Safai Mitra. Right? Dignity of labor. That is necessary. Gandhi said, barber's work deserves equal respect as work of lawyer or doctor. Because every work is actually a dharma, a duty which you are doing. And if you are replaced, you are not doing the duty, this will bring disorder. Someone has to do that job. So they should deserve equal respect. It is our conception that this work should deserve more respect and this work should deserve less respect. It is faulty concept. Then came this trusteeship, another important concept of Gandhiji. I would say trusteeship was Gandhiji's effort of showing Gandhiji's approach on conflict. अब लॉजिक समझिएगा गांधी, conflict between labor and capital. Labor represents workers, capital represents industrialist, capitalist. Gandhiji never accepted that there is concept of class conflict, कि ये आपस में इनका conflict होगा ही होगा. Like Marxists say, Gandhiji never agreed to that. Gandhiji was never agreed to violence. That violence is the solution to actually bring peace between labor and capital. Gandhi never agreed to that. Gandhiji said in trusteeship model that capital, you can say profit, it is actually an outcome of social contribution. It is actually an outcome. How many of you agree to that? Outcome of social contribution. Means many people work in a factory or any industry, and that's how revenues are generated. So how can revenues, this profit, be considered that profit belongs only to individual? So outcome of social contribution, not individual contribution. Not individual contribution. Right? तो वो अकेला कैसे रख लेगा सारे प्रॉफिट को? This is wrong. So beauty is when Gandhiji is justifying his trusteeship model, he's not saying this is a way which you can adopt. Capitalist, this is a way which you can adopt. No. Gandhiji was saying this is the only way. This is the reality. So you should only take what is necessary for yourself, for sustaining, for fulfilling your needs, and what is necessary for running this industry, running this business, running business. Rest should be dedicated to society. Rest should be dedicated to society. Okay? बाकी सबको आप society को dedicate करिए. Can you give some example from contemporary times which is closer to trusteeship model? Yes, we have CSR, corporate social responsibility. Government amended Companies Act, and now we have a concept CSR. If any company which has earned on an average 5 crore plus profit, I'm talking about profit, 5 crore plus annual profit on an average for 3 years, then it is mandatory on these companies that they have to spend 2% of their profit on social welfare activities. They have to file this, right? So it is closer to the concept of trusteeship, which is part of Gandhiji's Sarvodaya. And I hope you are actually getting the depth why Gandhi is concerned about this. Because in a society where there is disparity, whether on the basis of dignity or economic sense, then there will be disharmony, there will be conflict, right? Now, land reforms. So Gandhi said that Indian society is based on agriculture. Most of the people are based on agriculture. And these Britishers, their land policies, their tax policies has actually exploited this agriculture sectors to an extent that we have to revive this, and we have to revive the people who are dependent on this. And that is why Gandhiji advocated land reforms. In post independence, we saw many land reforms. For example, zamindari prohibition, right? Lands from zamindars were redistributed among poor, land sealing, right? So these are components of land reforms which Gandhiji was suggesting, and yes, they were applicable to some extent after independence. Then cottage industry should be revived. Why Gandhiji was saying that? Because this will make these people self-reliant. They won't be dependent on some other industries. Because cottage industry says that the the product which you are building, the services which you are giving, are outcome of your family members coming together and giving that service or making that product. Negligible dependence on labor from outside. So it is like you are taking care of your livelihood, your economic, material well-being by your own activities. So Gandhiji's, you can say, support for cottage industry was a effort to make people self-reliant, and that is necessary for Sarvodaya. Now coming to the last part, Satyagraha. What is Satyagraha? और यहां पे बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग इंसाइट है. Satya, truth, right? And agraha means your insistence on truth. You are insisting on truth, that you are standing with truth. Okay. So what Gandhiji said, Satyagrahi is not just what you consider truth, that if you consider truth that Britishers should go away and you are standing for that. No, no, no. That is not the only meaning of Satyagraha. Gandhiji used the concept of dialectics here to justify. So first is conception of Satyagraha. And when you say conception of Satyagraha, Satya ka agraha. Your life is about attaining truth, moving on the way of truth, right? And to know that, you need to know the justification. Gandhiji said, in law of dialectics, whenever there's a contradiction, two opposites are there. Who is going to win? Whichever is closer to truth. So whichever is closer to truth. So it means Gandhi is saying Satyagrahi are going to win. उनकी जीत पक्की है. सत्य की जीत हो, right? वो जीत होगी होगी. They are going to win because rule of dialectics says that ultimately जीत किसकी होती है? Good की होती है. So Gandhiji in his Satyagrahi's justification saying Satyagraha or India's freedom struggle is not just ordinary struggle. It is a debate between, you can say, battle between good and evil. And who is going to win? Good is going to win. And who is good? These Satyagrahis are good, and evil is Britishers, British state. Gandhiji in Satyagraha's justification says that eventually you are going to win, right? And Satyagrahi, since they have insistence on truth, then they should know that they should not be against evil doer. They should be against evil. Evil को खत्म करना, evil doer को नहीं. And now just understand this. Gandhiji said, you can only win this battle when you truly attain truth from inside, self-realization. And truth is, Britishers are ruling us not by their force. There are some mistake of ours. There was some weakness in Indian society, and Britishers made use of that. So Satyagraha, for Satyagraha, you should actually self-sacrifice. You should actually do the sacrifice. You should actually do the sacrifice for your reformation of Indian society. You should insist on truth, right? So Britishers, so just observe what was happening. World media was amazed by observing that Satyagrahis were being actually beaten by batons by these Britishers, but they were standing again and with all clarity. Then British officers again used the baton, and he stood up again. And when Britishers was actually, they were getting uneasy, so these Satyagrahis were helping Britishers. You need water, we'll give you water. So it was not an act of some, surface based ethics. No, it was way deeper. Because Satyagrahi's struggle was based on love for human. Their cause was more than freeing India from Britishers. Their cause was for truth, Satya. And they have to do this sacrifice. Because it was a weakness of Indians. And there's an interesting insight here. So Gandhiji derived this from a field called ontology, which says that whatever life we are having as of now is an outcome of our choices. Believe it or not, if you observe that at every moment we have choices, you are actually listening to this lecture, you had a choice to go back and do some, watch some entertainment video. But you made another decision. You thought, no, I need to understand Gandhi. I need to understand these ideas. You made a choice to elevate your understanding. Every point in your life, you made a choice, and your life is an outcome of your choice. So stop giving responsibility to the circumstances, to the people, because it was all about your choice. This is the message Gandhi is giving to Satyagrahis. The moment you recognize this, the moment you claim your power. And this power is not going to stop by some weapons. I hope you got the message of Satyagraha. An application of Satyagraha is not just from political standpoint. It is applicable in personal, you can say, sphere also. I hope it is clear. So Gandhi's fundamental beliefs in Satya, truth, which he also calls God. And God is going to win. So Satya is the ruling principle of universe. So at this point, I declare my session complete. See you in the next lecture. Meanwhile, I would request you to share key takeaways from this session in comment box.